While we're waiting on the remainder of that diesel fuel to drain out, I'm starting on this next little project here. What we're doing, we are basically making a new gauge panel. None of these original gauges work. I've been through them and tested them. That's kind of boring, whatever. So I didn't video any of that. But what we're doing right now is we're going to take this apart and get all of this junk out of here. And just making sure you guys can see. I'm gonna get all this stuff out of here, and we're gonna build a new gauge panel. Okay, so like I said, this dummy light panel didn't work anyway, and I am absolutely 100% not a fan of dummy lights. So what I'm going to do, we're going to pull our gauges out of here. The ones are the gauges, the switches, everything like that we're going to keep. Okay, we did all that to do this. We want to be able to mark this panel out, just like it is. Alright, so we got all of our holes laid out. It's a new day, if you can't tell, wardrobe change, whatever. But all the holes are laid out, center punched, and we got some brand new hole dozers. That's fitting. And we couldn't put the what's happening on this. Alright, now you can see we got some burrs and stuff in there. We're going to clean all that up with this file. Be careful with those because they are very, very sharp. That's not already obvious. Doing a quick test fit because all the gauges are the same size, so that all fits well. Awesome. Now we'll get our tachometer laid out, and then we're going to do some more drilling for a couple more holes there, and we'll be wrapping this thing on up. As you can see, penetrating the oil that we put on there and then wiping it clean pretty well erase my lines, but that's alright. I'd rather get it right. Alright, there's probably a lot of wind noise because we got a storm coming in. that said, there is the new mechanical gauge panel, and we're fixing to start hooking up all the different gauges. Here's our temperature probe right there. I found a good spot for it. The tack, I've got an idea on where I want to mount the proximity eye for it, proximity switch I should say. And anyhow, we'll get to work on this thing. This right here is the factory, the OEM oil pressure switch for the dummy light. And we're going to remove it because we are no longer using the dummy lights. We're going to tap right in there. I may dribble a little bit of oil. Don't be alarmed. Get it started. There we go. Now what I opted for, since the triple gauge set that I bought came with the old clear plastic tubing junk, I don't even like that in a car or truck, but I went ahead and bought some of the copper tubing because bulldozers, if you don't know this, are prone to a whole lot of vibration from walking on these tracks. It's just a good idea to go ahead and get something that's going to hold up, and that plastic, it's going to get brittle over time. I don't like it. Go ahead, spend a few extra bucks and get this good stuff. Looks like a slinky. I'm gonna get it routed. Now I found a spot up there in the firewall that I liked where it was at in relation to how I want to come into my gauges. I'll make this recommendation: don't try and put a sharp bend in this copper tubing, because you will kink it and then your gauge is not going to get a reading, and if it does get one, it's going to be very inaccurate. Alright, so there we are. Don't forget, go ahead and slip your threaded collar on here first. You thought I was going to drop that, didn't you? So did I. Then put your ferrule on. We're going to stick that puppy in there till it stops like that. Push our ferrule up, and that makes it a compression fitting, because as it compresses on there, it expands that tubing and makes a seal. Don't ever tighten it. You just want to snug it, because the worst that can happen if you don't get it tight enough is it leaks a little bit, because we're going to be checking this for leaks, and if it leaks a little bit, we just snug it a little more. There we go. And if you remember, we still got a rat's nest in here and some chewed up wires down in there that's got to be, the rat's nest at least has got to come out. What I'm doing right now is just kind of routing this copper tubing from our gauge up through the dash, getting everything where it belongs, and then we'll do something with our excess inside this dash. You didn't miss much. I was just routing wires. Now we got a connection made, so we'll do a little heat shrinkage right there. Yeah. I've made my connections for the amp gauge, the ammeter, down there at the alternator, and again where my big cable comes in from the battery going to the starter. And what I'm doing now, said it before, and I really mean it, but there's a lot of vibration on a bulldozer. So everywhere that you run a wire is prone to chafing that wire. That said, it would really be in your best interest if you're doing some stuff like this. Say you just bought your very first little bulldozer or something, trying to do some stuff like this right here, because you know you watch our channel all the time, like, hey, them old boys right there, if they can do it, I can. And you're right. But you bought your first bulldozer and you don't know all this and that, whatever, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a little secret. Protect everything. If you don't, it's bad. What I'm doing, I'm gonna put some wire loom on this here wire, and it'll end up being fuse protected, because I really don't want this machine burning down if I can help it. I like it quite a bit. Normally I heat shrink this connection, but I'm just gonna be truthful. Right now we got a pretty good storm starting to bear down on us, and I'm really wanting to get done. So I'm getting in a little bit of a rush, which I don't like doing, but I'm gonna take that. Cause it ain't gonna hurt a dang thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and get us a couple ends on here. Alright, so now we have selected us a spot to put our probe for the temperature gauge, and just eyeballing it, I can tell we're going to need one of the adapters that came with the kit, so we'll be installing that right there. Good Lord Almighty, that's growing in there. Okay, so here's how the gauge panel ended up. Everything is hooked up. Cut it on. Voltmeter's up. It's cold, so I'm not going to raise RPMs too much, being that we just cranked it. But I have had it run long enough to see that my temp did get up to 180. Oil pressure stays good. Overall, I'm really pleased with it. So hey, if you like this kind of content, join us. We work on everything. If you haven't watched any of our other stuff, I suggest you check it out, because you are missing out. Next thing I'm working on is going to be getting the blade back on this thing. So that'll be an adventure in itself, because nothing square, straight, true, or anything about the blade. So we're just going to see how it goes. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you hadn't. Click that like button down there, because that helps more than anything with the whole YouTube algorithm. Help anybody that you enjoy watching. Click that like button. It helps them out tremendously. So anyway, thanks you guys. See you later.